Watch Fortress Eriok is in the outer part of the same named system, and it's built on an ancient artifact, the Omega Vault. This mysterious vault releases some of its secrets to counter events that happen in the system as they unfold, seemingly sometimes before it's even happened. So what could lie at its heart? Who made it? What's its purpose? Friends, let's find out, and welcome to another 40k video. We'll start with defining what it is from the Deathwatch Core Rulebook. The Omega Vault is a sealed series of ancient engines, catacombs and chambers that sit at the heart of Watch Fortress Eriok. The Omega Vault has been part of the Watch Fortress since it was established in the Jericho Reach, though what it contains at its centre remains unknown to any living person. The vault contains a broadly cylindrical portion of the Watch Fortress that spans many levels running through its core. There is only one entrance to the Omega Vault, a single door 4 paces high. The door is sealed and armoured by layered void shields and adamantine plating as thick as a warship's prow. Engraved upon it are the symbols of the Deathwatch and the Elder Terran rune Omega, surrounding an image of the Emperor strangling a coiled serpent. Above these great doors are words in High Gothic that read, "And the last fortress is truth." Each battle brother freshly stationed at the fortress is brought before these words to take the oath of vigil. No living being can open the doors of the vault. They open themselves at the command of mysterious ancient devices at the heart of the vault. Those who have been inside pass along corridors and down spiralling stairs lined with catacomb subvaults, each barred with its own blast door and surrounded with dust-dry parchment fragments and archaic marks etched in silver. Though each door awaits a secret of the Omega Vault, held in an armoured chamber, each protected by powerful automated defences and locks of unfathomable complexity. The Omega Vault is known to yield up a portion of its cryptic artefacts and information in direct response to events unfolding within the Jericho Reach. There is also evidence that the central data reservoir of Watch Fortress Eriok is bound to something deep within the Omega Vault. The Vault has, on occasion, responded to new information sent in from watch stations or operational reports on Deathwatch missions by revealing a portion of what was placed within its many millennia ago. However, this process remains fraught with mystery, particularly as to whether the Vault's actions are based entirely on a preordained sequence or are at least partly reactive in nature. Perhaps most telling, they are numerous events of great import that have transpired in the Reach and failed to trigger any response from the Vault. Most recently, for example, there was incursion of the Tyranid threat into the Orpheus Salient. So far this event has drawn no response from the Vault, although specific dangers since caused by the Tyranids have triggered activity within the Omega Vault. It is an enigma that continues to trouble the thoughts of Deathwatch, Space Marine and Inquisitor alike. Only one chamber has ever been discovered and unlocked each time the Omega Vault has opened itself. Once whatever waits in the open chamber has been removed, the vault seals itself once again, sounding a sonorous bell to warn of its closure and of the fatal consequences that would follow should anyone tarry. In the past, the vault has provided tombs of archaic lore, strange fragments of alien devices, ancient weapons forged in times long gone, world-slaying virus canisters, enigmatic star charts, and bizarre xenological specimens. On one occasion, its gift was an ancient astropath held in a stasis field. When awoken, the astropath sent one brief astropathic message and spoke 2 words before expiring from extreme old age, his final duty discharged. There's a deeper inner vault, some say, might be the last weapon it can release. The lawbook says it was built by humans, as the vault contains a pathogen deadly to all Xenos, but not humanity. So let's have some fun speculating on what this could be. First up, I propose it's an AI from the Dark Age, an advanced man of iron that was placed here. What makes me think Dark Age tech, or even AI, would be capable of that, and why would it be friendly? First, to tackle the idea, during the span of the Men of Iron serving humanity, there did seem to be a pretty clear period where they were doing as they asked, and I propose this would be from that time, rather than after the rebellion, the cybernetic revolt. So if we look to the heresy, we have the example of an AI called the Tabula Myriad. Its logic engine could calculate and predict the moves of the enemy they faced, and even showed the ability to remove scrap code from a chaos-corrupted machine. It ended up on Mars with the intervention Sorry, not with the intervention, with the intention of overthrowing the Dark Mechanicum. And another example, during the rise of Vashtor, an AI called the Aurak Myriad, it was able to locate and create an ambush when the Archifane wanted to locate the Dark Angel's home, the Rock. This worked, Vashtor's forces coming out of the warp where the Rock was. So add that up, finding the always moving had to locate Rock of the Angels by reading the ties of the warp, tactically calculating a way to get on board, and the first example of aiding the Loyalist forces for its own ends, telling them in the story how things are going to play out so they can make counter moves. They need data and can predict what their opponents would do in both cases. So I propose that the Omega AI does the same, using data to calculate and bring the most obscure elements of the system into its calculus so it can counter what it predicts is going to happen. And it's mentioned the vault has ancient markings on each vault subdoor. Could this be Dark Age war tech, used for example by the Grey Knights in the time of 40k to contain or banish demons? Could it be worded in specific ways on specific vaults if there's something demonic, let's say, or warp based inside? It's also mentioned that the data reservoir of the fortress can be accessed by the vaults. What if the AI at its heart can access that and use the data of the region to predict like the two myriad devices could, finding the most obscure flaws of data and putting it together in a way mankind's brain could not even comprehend to predict things that will happen. But why there, and how come it has things to aid within it, and the obscure things I'll come to that at the end. Many, though I can admit, not all devices unleashed, have an advanced feel of Dark Age tech. I will mention them in a sec. Perhaps they are the best tool for the job based on what it knows, and even though some seem random, it might be the best thing to counter what it thinks the enemy would do. Could it even have an STC within it to create certain devices? For example, it unleashes an archaic pattern data crystal which has coordinates. A vessel goes to those coordinates, the ship's astropath dies, and warns mankind should never enter that section of space again. Or when two Inquisitors arrive at the station, and the vault gives them a chronograph from the Dark Age that's counting down, and after a meeting the Inquisitors take all records of what was discussed with them. Both pretty random small events, but ones that the AI might predict to make smaller moves in a bigger play. But that begs the question, what would have built it? Now in the Dark Age, we know at one time the Menavine were the walls with which humanity's empire defended itself. They were used heavily in warfare by the humans from the Dark Age, and when the Eldari reached that level of tech, by comparison, they had drones that went out around their empire and gathered data and defended them without really having to raise a finger. What if the Dark Age humanity, with its advanced tech and paradise worlds, did something similar using the Men of Iron? And so, to counter a perceived threat, the vault and the AI at its heart were installed. I like that idea a lot. Now, as for the random things it seems to find within it, the only explanation I can think of for that would be that it must have gathered them at some earlier stage. Perhaps it has agents around it that others don't know about that go out and get what it needs, what's required to counter the threat it perceives. Now, I do have one more idea which I'll go over in brief now. It contains part of the Void Dragon and was placed there by the Emperor. How it got there, I have no idea. One door has on it the symbol of the Death Watch and the Elder Terran rune Omega, surrounding an image of the Emperor strangling a coiled serpent. Words to me that are pretty interchangeable. Serpent, worm, W-Y-R-M, dragon. And above this are words in High Gothic, and the last fortress is truth. I'm not sure about that part, but what if the Emperor put part of the creature there so that it can create these devices, and it's powered by the shard of it at the heart of the fortress? And what if it was placed there by the Emperor for some threat that he perceived, and those things were built around it by his vastages, those that follow him? Just another idea. Couldn't really expand it out much in the same way as I did the Dark Age AI idea, but you know I love that subject. So anyway, let me know what you think to the lot in this video. Drop me a comment down below. Tell me your ideas. That'd be really cool to exchange our thoughts on this subject. And if you like this video on 40k, then why not try this one? And if you like a lot of videos about the Dark Age of technology, I've got a playlist on the channel. Check it out.